On today's show,
which Game 1 loser is in more trouble? The San Antonio Spurs or the Toronto Raptors?
In Crossfire, we debate the first round loser with the most potential and the biggest opening round surprise.
And we'll get you all set for tonight's two games in Boston and Oakland.
It's Tuesday, May 2nd. The starter starts now.
Good evening, Sweet World, and welcome to The Starters, presented by Jack Daniel's Tennessee Honey. Whether you're listening to the podcast, joining us live right now on NBA TV, or a little bit later on YouTube, we're very, very happy to have you. I'm Jay Skeets, and alongside me, as always, that's Tess Mellis.
Game 1 of the second round, and LeBron is calling an alley-oop off the glass in the first 3 minutes. It happened.
To his right, the international man of mystery, taking it to the max, Lee Ellis.
Friend.
Lily, and last, certainly not least, over yonder, it is the bearded one. It's Trey Kirby.
Hey,
yo! TK, what's up?
Well, I'm here at the internet looking for your best tweets at hashtag the starters. And guys, earlier today we were treated to an incredible story while recording the Starters Twitter show. A tweet came in from a fan named Walter Hendrickson who said, when you're a Kia salesman and sold a car because you were talking about a mutual interest in the starters while listening to the show.
What?
So of course we pressed him for details. He continued, the car I sold was an Optima, the official car of the NBA.
Yeah.
You guys came up and I said the Twitter show is on. You down? He had on a Hornets shirt. I apologize to him for being less fortunate. Rockets for the win. We listened on the test drive, watched while signing. We listened via USB over the car's sound system, and then watched at my desk as we were going through the final details. You guys sold me a car. This is incredible.
Yeah! Way to go, Walter!
Way to go, Walter. I think this does make Kia Optima the official car of the starters as well. And it brings us to today's question. How has the starters helped you at work? Maybe it got you a promotion, maybe it got one of your rivals fired, or maybe you just dropped a hilarious zinger in a meeting and everybody thinks you're cool now. But whatever it is, we want to hear from you, so let us know on Twitter, how has the starters helped you at work? Send us your best tweets to hashtag the starters. We'll hear from you later. Shout out to you, Walter.
Yeah, shout out to Walter.
Way to go, Walter.
All right, get those tweets in, guys. Fun show tonight. Tass and I are going to go head-to-head in Crossfire. It's been a while since we've stepped into that heated... I was going to say ring, but it's not a ring. It's just two podiums looking at each other. He walks by. It's really weird. He shows off his legs. But we also will look ahead to tonight's two Game 2s
Yeah, they look good
Boston
from here, too.
and Oakland. He's always wearing shorts. It's too hot down here in the South. But we're going to start with a little What You Got Playoffs edition. If you're new to the show, here's how this works. We're going to debate some questions regarding last night's NBA action. We'll pick an answer, but you got to be careful with this because there's only one correct response, and that's whatever TK says it is. Trey.
Yeah, we had a couple of Game 1s last night and a couple of blowouts in San Antonio. The Rockets two-stepped all over the Spurs, knocking down 22 of 53s on the way to a 27-point victory. In Cleveland, the Cavs handled the Raps from the jump, showing off all night long while they won by 11 points, but it wasn't even that close. Guys, who's in bigger trouble? The Spurs or the Raptors? What you got?
The Raptors. LeBron James is going off the glass for an alley-oop in the first 3 minutes of the game. That's how confident they are.
Yeah.
And the actual reason why I feel a little bit worried for the Raptors is we're sort of seeing a repeat of last year already. Jonas Valanciunas is struggling when he's out on the basketball floor because defensively the Cavs are just picking off three-point shooters with Jonas in the paint. They have to help Jonas because he's sort of caught on an island pick-and-roll situations. He's not really a great rim deterrent against LeBron and Kyrie. So guys are just firing from the outside at a very high clip. They shot 9 of 13 from three-point land with Valanciunas on the floor. But I do see a solution in the Raptors' future, which can get the Raptors a little bit of hope. I think Ibaka's got to play more of the 5. Ibaka and Patterson at the 5, they're a +1 combined with them out there at center. Jonas Valanciunas might not have a role in this series, but so far it looks identical to last year.
Right, but here's the thing. I think that maybe the Spurs are in more trouble if you're looking at just last night's games because the Raptors are on the road, the Spurs were at home and get hammered, and no one really expects the Raptors to win this series against the Cavs anyway. A lot of people, including some here in the starters, expect the Spurs to maybe take down the Rockets. So I think it's actually the Spurs are a little bit more in trouble after getting beat by 27 points. And the game was over by halftime. A 30-point game, if not earlier. Yeah. And what's, I think, an issue maybe for the Spurs, I know they got the best coach in the world in Pop, and I'm sure he'll figure something out, or at least try something. But they got to figure out both defense, how do you slow down the Rockets and their three-point barrage, And offensively as well, someone's got to help out Kawhi on the offensive end. So they got both sides of the basketball here.
Yeah.
I think it might be the Spurs.
I guess a little positive, before we get into the nitty-gritty, is that they won last year, Game 1, Round 2, by 32 points and still lost that series.
Right.
It can happen.
We used to have a segment called "It's Just One Game,"
Yeah.
but again, we got to pick here between the two, and I think it's the Spurs.
I'm actually going with the Spurs too. I think that game plan that D'Antoni had last night worked to perfection. They got a lot of three-pointers. They were just shooting from the start, and the Spurs didn't really seem to have a lot of answers. James Harden was a perfect conductor last night.
Right.
He was either shooting when he wanted to shoot, getting other guys involved when they were ready. Mike D'Antoni said after the game, "We don't run plays. We just let James Harden decide what he's going to do." And you saw it. He only scored 20 points last night. Only took 13 shots. If the Rockets can win by 27 points with him only taking 20 shots, I think they'll take that every single time.
You talk about Valanciunas probably not maybe having a spot to play against the Cavs. What about the Spurs bigs? I mean, a lot of those guys looked exposed defensively. In Gasol, and Aldridge even, and David Lee. You put them in a pick and roll situation, and Harden gets to decide whether he's going to blow by them or throw a lob to Capella, who finished with 20 points.
They won 3 of 4 against the Rockets playing this way, going with 2 bigs, and the Rockets' franchise record in three-pointers made in this game.
They were on
with
fire.
22. They were definitely on fire. When you get blown out, there's a lot of problems, but a lot of things just didn't go right. You basically didn't start well from the get-go. But starting or playing 2 bigs is definitely a question for them.
Yeah.
I think playing David Lee is definitely a question because more so it puts LaMarcus Aldridge in a bad position defensively. He's flying out there trying to play Ryan Anderson. It's just a struggle for him. He would be better suited in the 5, playing Clint Capella or Nene Hilario down low, and then saving
Even then, the
well,
athleticism
he can play the 5 against one of those
Well,
guys.
yeah, but
Come
the way that James Harden gets Capella involved is just to go down the middle, draw that defender, and then lob it up to him. It's not like Capella's backing guys down and scoring.
No.
And that's where Capella has an advantage over Aldridge. It's just not.
But he's saying LaMarcus is going to have a better chance defensively.
I think he
against
can
those
play
guys
against
than
one of
maybe
those
Ryan.
guys.
Yeah, well, I mean,
pretty easily.
Capella, he was great last night. Just all he has to do is run to the rim, and he's going to get the ball when James Harden decides to throw it to him. That's all he needs to do.
I still believe in LaMarcus. Offensively, he had his worst postseason night ever yesterday with 4 points.
Crazy.
But their offense, Greg Popovich just talked about them being in the right spots, slowing it down big time and not getting into the Rockets type of pace.
Right.
And that's will help them defensively as well, just to slow her down. And LaMarcus offensively as well. I mean, he's a ton better than that. I don't think the series is over.
All right, we're torn on this one. What's the correct answer, Trey?
Oh, I think it's the Raptors because they still have to play against LeBron and still don't have an answer for LeBron. It's a tough one.
Fair.
Speaking of LeBron, the King was having some fun last night, got started early, catching a massive one-hand oop off the glass less than 3 minutes into the game, and he was loving it. Then in the third quarter, after being fouled on a shot at the rim, LeBron skipped towards the sideline and almost took a sip of beer, much to the delight of J.R. Smith. But it wasn't just LeBron. Kyrie Irving lulled Norm Powell to sleep with 1,000 crossovers before blowing by him for a layup. These were all great, but what was the cooler showboating? The oop, the beer, or the crossover? What you got?
Oh, it's tough.
It's a crossover for me.
crossover?
Because
I agree.
crossing a guy over deliberately and then finishing is second only to smashing a dunk in someone's face. It was deliberate by Kyrie what he did. Look how he's got Norm there. He's just saying, all right.
Yeah, but
and
the
then
game- nah, the game's
look where-
over. The game's
look where-
over.
It doesn't matter with
Yeah,
Kyrie.
once
Look
he
where
goes-
Norm-
he goes right. He
look
goes
where-
right. I think he fell asleep.
And look where Norm finishes. He just gives up on the play in the end. Kyrie finishes. He's got a smirk on his face as if to say, I had this guy. I was doing whatever I want with him.
It's incredible. This comes in third, though.
No way.
LeBron
No.
is
Someone was hypnotized in an NBA
Yeah.
game.
LeBron is going down the floor in Game 1 of an Eastern Conference semifinals matchup against your rival, a team you matched up in the finals in the Eastern Conference Finals last year, and pointing to Kyrie with guys all around him. I mean, it's
Is
not
that
even
cool,
a fast
though?
break.
Is that cool?
It's a cool showboat move, yeah.
But look,
because
there's barely anyone.
This is really
look,
cool.
he's pointing at the three-point
Yeah.
line to throw it off the glass. But when do you see that?
Well, the thing is, though, Kyle Lowry's not even really in this play. It's basically
pointing right there!
But look at Kyle Lowry. He's kind of like, all right, I'm not even in this play.
No, that right away was like obviously they weren't rusty and they're not scared of the Raptors because he's saying throw it off the glass in the first quarter.
Less than 3 minutes into the game. I still can't believe that actually happened. As far as the beer situation goes, I don't think it was that cool. Because, I mean, do cool,
You would've
guys,
liked a wine or
do cool
something?
guys drink beer? I mean, if you're the Dos Equis guy, maybe. I mean, I had a couple last night. I don't feel very cool right now. Not at all.
What are you drinking Dos Equis for?
Because I want to be the What's
most
his
interesting
title?
man in the world.
Yeah, that guy. You know, the
Yeah.
most interesting man in the world. LeBron is cool though. He can do anything. JR loves it.
JR loved it. All right, Trey, what's the answer to this one?
Oh, come on. It's LeBron's oop. 3 minutes
Yeah.
into the series, and he's catching one off the glass. That was just
Bulletin board
incredibly
material.
disrespectful. Loved it. But it wasn't all fun times last night. There was a little bit of drama in both games, with the Rockets up big at the end of the third. Nene was ejected for a minor choke as the Rockets center defended teammates, while in Cleveland, Dante Jones followed up a garbage time dunk with some trash talk, 2 technicals, and an ejection. Guys, what was the worst look? Nene or Dante? What you got?
I think it's Dante here. I'm going to go Dante Jones. Because, well, he cost LeBron some more money. LeBron's going to have to sell another Kia Optima. He's going to need Walter's help here. Because, like, you know, he's going to pay for the fine, whatever. He paid for his fine last year. It was only $80. It was a lot more this year. But, like, Dante Jones, what is he doing? Like,
Yeah, that's the.
he's just talking trash, and I get it. I mean, they're killing him. So he's feeling good about himself. But, you know, even LeBron was saying, like, look, Dante, you know, I'm going to pay the fine. I didn't even know what it was, but you got to sort of stop doing this and stop getting kicked out against Toronto, or I'm going to stop paying your damn fines. But I go with Dante Jones.
Doesn't this just mean that Dante Jones is going to get another contract? I mean, that's what he does. Last year,
I think it's a smart move by him.
yeah, last year he got into it in the Eastern Conference Finals as well.
Yeah, he
with
punched Biyombo in the Hibberts, right? But,
He got a contract for it, and now he's going to get another contract.
yeah.
That's what he does.
I also had no problem with the Nene one.
Nah, that's the thing.
I mean, I think it's right that maybe they tossed him because, you know, he is around the neck there.
Yeah.
But I think he was more of like a get away from my Harden. And because he's a giant, his hand sort of went around. I don't think he was choking him, is what I'm saying.
No,
but
he wasn't.
Yeah.
He just didn't want it to escalate and maybe get Harden attacked.
Just
or
get away
anything
from
like
my
that.
Harden.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the stiff one. Get away from my Harden. Trey, what's the answer?
I think it's Dante. Honestly, both of these were fine, but this one cost more money, right now at least.
Yeah, all right. We got to take a break. When we come back, which first round loser has the most potential? Tass and I are going to debate that and more. And we'll see Lee's legs in Crossfire.
Welcome to Crossfire. This is how it works. Trey will give Skeets and me 3 topics. We'll debate each one. At the end of it all, Trey will declare a winner. Trey, what's our firstie?
All right, round 1. Experts say you gotta lose in the playoffs before you can win. So with that in mind, which first round loser has the most potential? Here we go.
Oh, I love this question. Milwaukee Bucks. Got to be the Bucks. They gave the Raptors all they could handle there in that first round.
Lots of potential.
In that competitive 6-round series, or 6-game series, excuse me. But mainly because of Giannis. Yeah, the Greek Freak is the big reason why. He's already something special at the age of 22. You'd imagine they'll be in contention for home court advantage next year if they can stay healthy. You got the Greek Freak, you got Middleton, you hopefully got Jabari coming back, you got the president, you got maybe a diamond in the rough there in Thon Maker. So I think the Bucks, potential to win a series next year for sure.
What about the MVP candidate that just won 47 games in Russell Westbrook and the Thunder? Will he make his high-priced teammates even better next year? Speaking specifically about Victor Oladipo and Steven Adams. Will Oladipo take that next step? He signed for 4 years, $84 million. Will he be the backup point guard? I think that's a fair place to put him in a Lance Stevenson type role. What about Steven Adams? 4 years, $100 million he was signed for. Are those two going to take the next step? Can Russell help them? Because before this year, there was a ton of P word wrapped around those two guys, but they've sort of fallen off. And Russell, all the attention that he gets, I think he can make them better next year.
All right, round 2 coming right up. The whole point of making moves at the trade deadline is to see them pay off in the playoffs. And since we're in the playoffs, what's been the best mid-season pickup? Here we go.
Lou Williams is the second highest scorer on the Houston Rockets. They acquired him. He's scoring 19 points a game. I think we're at peak Lou right now. He's at 30 years old, and he's doing it efficiently. This is by far his best postseason ever. He's never had a ton of postseason success. This is peak Lou. He just comes in and just makes it happen. I think we've sort of forgotten what this guy does in this league. He's been in the league for 12 years. But is there a better natural scorer than Lou on the perimeter?
Former Raptor Lou Williams, but I'm going to go with the current Raptor to answer this question. I'll go with Serge Ibaka as a very solid pickup here for the Raptors. I actually don't even think they beat the Bucks in that first round without Serge Ibaka playing the well he did. A lot of times he was at least the Raptors' second best player on the floor, giving them not only a little bit of offense, but especially defense. 2 blocks per game throughout the playoffs. He was traded, remember, just for Terrence Ross and a pretty late 2017 first round pick. He's going to be a free agent. He's likely going to get some money, but he has been a huge pickup for the Raps.
Some called him old.
Yeah.
All right, final round 3 coming up. Whether it be birthdays or the playoffs, everybody loves a good surprise. So, guys, what was the biggest surprise of the first round? Here we go.
I think it was Rondo maybe deciding a first-round series. Hate to bring this up, Trey, as a Bulls fan, but Rondo in the year 2017 honestly may have swung a series. The Bulls were up 2-0, obviously, when Rondo was healthy, and then he had the fractured thumb, and then they dropped the next 4. I think the Celtics would have gotten it going eventually in that series, but I'm not sure it wouldn't have gone possibly 7 games with him in there. He was averaging basically 11.5, 10, 8.5, 3.5 steals. I mean, they were getting a ton of easy looks, so Rondo just having an impact on the 2017 playoffs. That's a bit of a surprise.
It is. I'm taking it off the court.
Okay.
If you go to a game with your mom, your one wish is that you don't get put on the kiss cam. But in Milwaukee, this fan, he was put on the kiss cam.
That's not good.
Hey, he handled it pretty well, but you can see him mouth here. That's my mom.
Yeah.
That's my mom.
Yeah.
And as he told Fox 6 News, Connor Farrell said, I've known for years my mom looks young for her age. I mean, she's 48 and looks young. But I didn't expect that. That was the biggest surprise of the first round
He did handle
for
it
this
pretty well.
young man.
Yeah.
That's my mom.
That's tough. That's
He
tough.
didn't kiss her.
Tonight's winner, Tess Mellis,
Wow.
for the Sterling mom research right there.
Yeah.
She looked great for 48.
She absolutely did. All right, we got to take a quick break. But when we return, we're going to look ahead to tonight's action in Boston and Oakland. So don't go anywhere. You're watching the starters. What was her name again?
The Starters on NBA TV is brought to you by Jack Daniel's Tennessee Honey, proud partner of the NBA. Do your friends proud. Please drink responsibly.
40 games in 40 nights continues. TNT doubleheader tonight. Game 2 of the Wizards and Celtics. Boston taking game 1. Second game, Jazz and Warriors. Game 1 Lee, get some coffee in you. It's going to be a late one here on the East Coast, but it should be a good one. A little look ahead here, though. TK, you got the questions for us heading into
I
these
got
games.
some cues for yous. After taking a 16-0 lead to start the first quarter, things fell apart for the Wizards in their Game 1 loss. Markieff Morris is a game-time decision tonight, so what's a key adjustment the Wizards can make in Game 2?
Make Markieff healthy.
Yeah, that'd be a start.
I think that is the most important thing. I don't think there really has to be an adjustment. If I was going to get nitpicky, I'd say there were some shooters that were left open that could bury some shots for the Wizards. Marcin Gortat went into the middle quite often in this one, and there's open shooters there. Otto Porter's asking for it in the opposite corner. On the opposite side of the floor, the weak side, there's shooters that are available. And the Celtics say, hey, we'll take 2 for 3, and we're going to play you one-on-one. I just think that the shooters are great for the Wizards. They ended up taking 16 fewer threes than the Celtics in this one, and that hurt them. They shot a great percentage, the Wizards did, as did the Celtics, obviously. But
Right.
I think there are some better shots available if we're going to be nitpicky.
Well, I think it's actually they have to defend the three-point shot of the Celtics better. The Celtics shot 19 of 39. Kelly Olynyk, Jay Crowder, and Al Horford went 9 for 13 from downtown. When those guys are filling it up like that, they're giving that's bonus points, I think, for the Celtics. So the Wizards have to be a little bit more careful, just a little bit more locked in as well, I think, because they got off that good start. And I do think they took their foot off the gas a little bit there. Once the Celtics got that momentum, Isaiah hit a few shots, Crowder, Horford, Olynyk, those guys got these shots in. The surge sort of came, and the Wizards really weren't prepared to handle that. So I think they've got to be a bit more focused defensively.
Keith's injury, I think Markieff's injury had a little to do with
did.
it.
I was going to say, can the Wizards win even if Markieff goes tonight, but he's 60%, 70% on that bum ankle? Can they even win?
I think
They're
so.
shallow to begin with.
They are.
but
They
it
are.
could
They
be
need
very tough.
him desperately.
All right, Trey, next game.
Golden State plays at one of the fastest paces in the league, while Utah plays at the very slowest. Guys, how can the Jazz make like Horace Silver and control the tempo tonight?
How do you control the tempo? I mean, it's important if they're going to have any chance in this, because they do play 2 different styles. The Warriors want to get up and down, Clay shooting, Steph shooting, let those threes roll, whereas the Jazz try and keep Gobert on the floor and, don't try not... They got to be careful not to get him in foul trouble, because I think the Warriors will go at him. I think you'll see Draymond even try to go at him there and try to get him some easy fouls. But if he can stay out there, they have to control. They have to just slow this down and make it a half-court game. That's going to be your best chance.
Right.
Right?
They're fairly good at that.
They are.
They have been this postseason. Derek Favors is also questionable for tonight. There's a lot of issues here, but that's because you're dealing with the Golden State Warriors.
Yeah, just slow it down, and when they do get into their offense, knock down shots. They've got good three-point shooters, in Joe Ingles out there, Gordon Hayward, Joe Johnson can knock them down as well. So they've got to value possessions And when the Warriors do go on a little run, because we know that's going to happen.
It's going to happen,
yeah,
right.
Not sort of panic too much and just not let it become too insurmountable if the Warriors get out to one of those crazy little runs. But value possessions, move the ball around like they do. They're a very good passing team. And when guys are open, knock down those shots. Put pressure on the Warriors. Make the Warriors have to feel a little bit of pressure, because so far in the playoffs, they really haven't. Dan
Feldman of NBC Sports tweeted today, or wrote it actually in a blog post, Golden State had 37 faster-paced games than Utah's fastest game. Yeah. 37. I mean, it really is a contrast of styles, but it's going to be something to watch in this. The number of possessions. The Warriors want to get up and down. Jazz want to say slow, slow, slow. So we'll see. Are you going to stay up and watch it? You promise me?
Well, I won't promise you. I'll be up for the first half.
I'm calling you every quarter. I'm calling you every quarter, man.
I'm going to have my phone on silent by then. Airplane mode.
All right.
First half, I'll be up, for sure.
Everyone tweet Lee Ellis tonight. Keep him awake. Final break, but when we return, VSP, you're watching The Starters, presented by Jack Daniels, Tennessee Honey.
Don't at me, bro.
Turned off notification.
We helped that guy sell a Kia Optima today. It was cool. And we asked you, how has The Starters helped you at work? You hit us up on Twitter, #The Starters. Trey, you got a few of the best answers.
Yeah, some real good answers. This one comes from Sacramento, who says, the show gave me and my coworkers the idea to play Fashion or Nah while looking at the customer's wardrobe. Brilliant idea. Old Skeezer says, I'm a server at Buffalo Wild Wings, and sometimes I see the show on a small corner TV with no sound. It's one of our favorite locations, of course. My favorite answer, though, comes from Ray Pena, who says, to be honest, it hasn't helped me at work, but I love the show anyways.
Thanks for being honest, Ray. Yeah. Honest, Ray. Lily, where are we going for VSP?
Well, we're going to Cleveland, and even though the Raptors didn't win last night, they got the consolation prize, really, by getting the very solid play. It was a real nice one here. Started off with Kyle Lowry. The ball does tic-tac-toe. You're going to have to trust me on this one. Here it is again. He drives inside. Little tic-tac-toe with P. Pat and PJ Tucker. He knocks it down. It's only a 2, not a 3, but that's what I call a very solid play.
Great stuff. Yeah, Tucker was stepping on the line all night. Come on, man.
He's the JJ Redick of the NBA.
Yeah.
Now it's time for the fan of the night.
Yeah, it is.
The fans putting forth some effort, including their wardrobe. We're calling this guy Laxin Loompa because he's relaxed.
Fashion or not? Wow.
There he is.
Come on, why do you go to a game like I'm sorry. We had a blast with the Twitter show. It's up on iTunes, Google Play, our website. You can find it everywhere. We discussed all 4 second-round series, what the Clippers' next move should be, and Lee talked about James Bond, his impeccable skiing skills.
James Bond, he's never wobbles. You know? James Bond can outski aeroplanes, firing missiles and rockets and bombs at him. He can just avoid them and evade them. He's incredible.
There it is.
He really is.
Wow.
Favorite James Bond movie?
I always say Tomorrow Never Dies. Is that one? They all sort of blend in to become the same one.
He's just skiing and all.
No, you know what? The Living Daylights with Timothy Dalton. A lot of people don't like it. I think it's a good one.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
All right, thanks for joining us, folks. And remember, Kia, I could use a new car, or even a used one. I don't care.
Race the night, people.
Game time's next.